America is one of the wealthiest and most powerful nations on earth. It split the atom, put a man on the moon, built the internet, and created the most advanced military technology the world has ever seen. Its scientists mapped the human genome. No other nation has pushed the boundaries of progress quite like the United States. But for a country this powerful, the average American is shockingly stupid.
Do you know what the letter O on the periodic table stands for?
Nah.
Take a guess. What do you think it stands for?
Octopus.
Yes. Do you know what the third month of each year is?
February.
Yes. Do you know what year the War of 1812 was?
I'm gonna say 1825 maybe.
Yes. Do you know what 3 times 3 times 3 is?
3 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3, 18?
Yes.
Now it's easy to blame the schools, outdated textbooks, underpaid teachers, a curriculum built on standardized testing. And yes, America's education system is a disaster. It teaches obedience, not critical thinking, memorization, not reasoning. But here's the part no one wants to say out loud. What if the system isn't broken? What if it's doing exactly what it was designed to do? Because the dumber you are, the easier you are to influence, and the more likely you are to do as you're told, without ever asking why. In this video, you'll see exactly how keeping Americans dumb keeps the elites in power. I went to school in the UK. Across my 12 years of high school, apart from English and maths and French, I studied geography, history, chemistry, physics, biology, economics, and business studies. In maths, we covered trigonometry and calculus, topics that are retaught in the first year of university in many countries. Ask anyone from Europe or parts of Asia, the standard is similar. In contrast, most American students leave high school never having learned how to read a basic contract, calculate interest on a loan, or identify major countries on a map. They leave school without knowing how to budget, file taxes, understand debt, or protect themselves from basic financial exploitation. But they can recite the Pledge of Allegiance. They've been taught that America is the greatest country in the world without ever being given the tools to evaluate that claim. This isn't about raw intelligence, it's about what people are given the chance to learn. And in America, that chance is deliberately limited. The American education system doesn't exist to create free thinkers. It exists to create functional employees, people who can follow rules, meet deadlines, and never ask why. From an early age, students are trained to sit still, raise their hands, memorize approved facts, and regurgitate them on a test. They're not taught how to think, they're taught what to think. They're not rewarded for asking good questions. They're rewarded for getting the right answer. Creativity declines, curiosity shrinks, and by the time they graduate, they know how to follow instructions, but not how to challenge any of them. They're given just enough knowledge to be productive, but not enough to be dangerous. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Not everyone is supposed to succeed. If everyone knew how the system worked, how to build wealth, how power flows, how to leverage skills, who would be left to mop the floors, drive the trucks, stock the shelves? The elite don't want 300 million entrepreneurs. They want workers, consumers, cogs to make the system work. And when you train people to follow without thinking, you don't just limit their success, you break their ability to even process reality. In a 2018 YouGov survey, only 66% of young American adults age 18 to 24 said they firmly believe the Earth is round. That means 1/3 were either unsure or believed the Earth might be flat. Let that sink in. In the most technologically advanced country in the world, a significant portion of young people don't fully believe in basic planetary geometry. Because how many of them were ever taught how to reason from evidence? How many were trained to analyze claims, spot manipulation, or question information without getting emotional? How many can debate an issue without falling apart? The truth is, most don't, and that's not by accident. Because if you've never been taught how to think critically, how would you even know when you're being lied to? How would you recognize propaganda, manipulation, or exploitation if no one ever gave you the tools to detect it? This is why so many Americans walk around confidently repeating slogans they've never examined. They'll say capitalism is freedom and socialism is slavery, not because they've studied either, but because they were never taught how to question anything that fits the narrative they were raised on. Most Americans have never been taught how the tax system works, how wealth compounds, or how debt is used to trap people into lifelong dependence. But they've been trained to panic at words like wealth distribution or universal health care. They've been told it's socialism, something dangerous, something to fear. Meanwhile, the rest of the developed world has universal health care and laughs at the fact that Americans go bankrupt over hospital bills. They don't understand the systems, only the emotional reactions they've been programmed to have. And if you do question it, you're not considered curious, you're considered un-American. From a young age, patriotism isn't just taught as love for your country, it's taught as obedience to it. So anyone who challenges the narrative is labeled disloyal, dangerous, or even ungrateful. That's not education, it's indoctrination. Once you leave school, the programming doesn't stop. It just changes format. Now it's the news, social media, and pop culture doing the thinking for you. You're not taught to investigate, you're fed conclusions. You're not shown both sides, you're told who the villain is. Most Americans didn't know where Iraq was until CNN told them it was being invaded. And just like that, millions were ready to support a war, not because they understood it, but because they were told who the enemy was. The media doesn't inform, it instructs. It tells you who to hate, who to fear, and what to believe. So who benefits from keeping Americans dumb? The rich, the powerful, the ones who write the rules, hoard the wealth, and never want to be questioned. Because when a population can't think, the elite don't just stay in control, they keep getting richer off your obedience. You don't question the debt you're buried in, you don't challenge the rigged financial systems, you just keep working, spending, consuming, and believe that your struggle is normal, or your own fault. And if they can convince you that you're free, that you live in the best country on earth, even though you've never been taught to compare it, then you won't resist. You'll serve them with pride. In North Korea, people are controlled through force. They're forbidden from questioning the system and shielded from ever seeing outside it. Americans on paper are free to question everything, but they've never been given the tools to do it, because that's what real education gives you. So what's the difference? One is enslaved by force, the other by ignorance. That's the end game. As Johann Wolfgang von Goethe once said, none are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. If you found this video insightful, you might like another one on a similar topic. Click on the thumbnail to watch or keep exploring. Also, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel.